Okay, so uh, speaking of takes that we've heard, so I was talking to a guy the other night, and he was saying that in the future there will be no more ethnicities, right? Like every human will be the same homogenized shade of light brown or something. That was his position. That we'll all become one truly unified, homogenous group of people. And I actually don't think that that's true, and I don't think that it's possible. So I think that uh, a a species that is large, like the human race is, there's 7 billion of us, we're massive. So a species that is large and is singular is actually at a low entropy position. And I think that what that does is it makes uh, it makes that species speciate, because actually speciation is a way of increasing entropy for the original species. And so I think that it is impossible that you're, as long as there's a bunch of humans around and there isn't some sort of mass extinction event that reduces our population down to like 8 million individuals or something, as long as we have a large population like we do, I think that speciation is inevitable, and I think that it's backwards to assume that humans will form just one ginormous single species. That seems to go against just the principles of entropy, and I think that that's dumb. That's my take on that.
I think that's a very reasonable take of it, because you also have to think like what caused the speciation events to begin with. It's because people lived in radically different environments. And let's assume that people have of like African ancestry spend like the next 10,000 years living in America, in various parts of America, and they kind of stay stable, reproducing in this specific area over that many generations. What's eventually going to happen is they're slowly going to look more and more like indigenous American people.
Well, so I want to point out that there are actually two different types of speciation, right? You have allopatric and sympatric speciation. So allopatric is the speciation that occurs due to like geographic distance. So, for instance, the reason why it is that white people have white skin and black people have black skin is because of allopatric speciation. They were separated by a continent, and they lived in totally different environments, right? That's allopatric speciation. However, there also exists something called sympatric speciation. And so that's where an organism, a species can exist in an environment, and they are not separated geographically, but they will still speciate. Because let's say that, it's like a species of, I don't know, monkey or something, and they speciate so that one of the monkeys like stays in the trees and the other species like goes down onto the land. Well, they would be speciated, they no longer reproduce or whatever, but they're still in the same geographic area. This type of speciation, sympatric speciation, actually happens all the time. So I think that it is entirely feasible that human beings, like, we were largely allopatrically speciated, but as we make everything a global, brave new world, I think that sympatric speciation might actually become a major thing. And again, I think that from the perspective of like entropy, I think this might be inevitable. Like, it's a consequence of thermodynamics.
I think probably class-related factors would have a lot to do with sympatric speciation, because like you just mentioned, like the globo homo jet setter type people that can afford to fly around the world to different places and do that semi-regularly. There's much more people that aren't going to be doing that. So if that type of trend continues for tens of thousands of years, that's going to lead to a sympatric speciation of some kind. It might be very subtle, but it is going to happen.
Maybe this has already happened, and you know what? Maybe Klaus Schwab is actually like the pinnacle of this new speciation of humans. Like he's
the World Economic Forum.
Exactly. The new rulers of the state, the new species, the ones who really know what's best for you. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I'm not expecting you to talk. I'm expecting you to die. Dun, dun, dun.
He's just a James Bond villain.
There's no way that anyone would have intentionally done that. That has just to be like one of the most kookiest emergent occurrences ever. It's like the guy that's in charge of the fucking World Economic Forum looks, dresses, and sounds like a fucking James Bond villain. That you couldn't plan that. If you were to plan that, you wouldn't plan that. Yeah, let's make the leader of this thing that we want everyone to get on board with look like a freaking villain from a James Bond movie. This will totally work. No, it just shook out that way. It's like, oh, I guess he really does look like a James Bond villain. Fuck. We didn't think this through.
Dude,
that's how you know that the elites aren't actually in control.
Dude, what's hilarious is that you know that they have a PR team. They probably have a very extensive PR team, and yet they were like, yeah, this is the best we can do. Like he used to be more like a Darth Sidious, and now he just kind of looks like a James Bond villain. Like that, we did the best we could. He's evil. Sorry, we can't improve the image that much.
And the reason there's that picture of him wearing that weird suit that looks like something from like the fucking Star Wars Old Republic is because instead of like giving you a diploma or like one of those weird college hats, like when you graduate from that school, they give you that weird looking black suit to wear as the sign that you graduated.
So the other, I guess, I'll make the other biological point here now, just so I don't have to make it next week. So I had this idea, right? And maybe this is a bullshit idea. I don't know, but I was thinking, and if you look at the layers of complexity inside of the human brain, you have like a left and right hemisphere to the brain, and then you have like certain subregions, like the occipital lobe that handles certain things, and these different like areas of the brain, like the hypothalamus or whatever, the prefrontal cortex. They all kind of handle different operations, but they're all talking to one another. And that introduces kind of like a small net of like complexity. And then you have, I guess, like further subdivided regions in that. Eventually you get down to individual neurons. When it comes to individual neurons, you have like 100 billion neurons inside your head. God knows how many connections that they might be making, easily over 1 trillion. I'm not sure exactly how many orders of magnitude above that. I would guess like, I don't know, like 10, 100 trillion different connections between all the neurons. And then, I was thinking about myelinated sheaths, right? Because when it comes to the axons that run through the brain, they're myelinated, right? And this can actually this can reduce their presence reduces the amount of electrical talk between different neurons, and then their absence can actually increase electrical talk between neurons. And I was thinking, like, holy shit, like the presence or absence of myelinated sheaths in the network adds another layer of complexity onto the already complex network, right? And then I was thinking, oh my god, there's like so many other ways that you could add layers upon layers upon layers of complexity onto this system, right? It's just networks upon networks upon networks. And ultimately, this seems like it's a combinatoric bomb, right? Where you just have like a million different ways to shuffle these different things around. However, it appears as though there's the neural network that exists inside the human brain is Darwinian, especially, let's say, in the developmental years. It's a highly Darwinian network where neurons actually compete against one another to form the network. So I guess the interesting thing about that is that Darwinian networks are able to explore a many-dimensional space relatively efficiently. And when I say dimensional, I don't mean spatial dimensional. I mean, like, for instance, when you look at an image, there's a number to a pixel, right? So like a pixel can be like between like a 0 and a 100 or something in terms of, let's just say, brightness, if we're looking at a grayscale image and not even at like a color image. But if you're just looking at a grayscale image, between 0 and 100, you can be looking at, I mean, that is a dimension to the image. So if you're looking at a two-dimensional grayscale image, it's actually a three-dimensional image because you have to account for the sliding scale of the pixels, right? So there's actually a lot of ways that you can introduce dimensions that are not spatial dimensions, but they are still dimensions that can hold information. So I guess that my point with that is that I think that a Darwinian system is able to explore that incredibly large space very efficiently, and I think that's a thing. I don't know. I have to think more about this, but that's just a thought that I wanted to get out there into the ether, just for the fun of it, just for anyone who's listening to... Maybe I'm completely fucking stupid. I don't know. But maybe it's something to chew on. Maybe it's not. I just wanted to get that out there.